The cameras weren't ready, the cast wasn't ready, and honestly, nobody watching from their couches with popcorn in hand was ready for what Ciara just pulled. One moment she was sitting there like the drama was just swirling around her edges. And the next she opened her mouth and detonated a bomb that shook every wall of the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta set. "Because I'm pregnant," she said. And then, like a script written in chaos itself, she repeated it, louder, clearer, like she wanted it carved into the air. "Yes, I'm pregnant." That sound alone was enough to snatch wigs off scalps and choke champagne down throats. The cameras caught the freeze-frame moment, the silence so sharp you could practically hear the heartbeat monitor in the background of reality TV history. This wasn't just gossip. This was a scandal stitched together with audacity, timing, and a baby bump nobody saw coming. And then, the knife twist. It wasn't just any pregnancy, not some nameless fling, not a storyline with a new face. No. This was young Jock's baby. The same Jock who had built an empire not off music charts anymore, but off child support checks and reunion show apologies. The same Jock who smiled his way through every season like drama was cologne he sprayed on before walking into a scene. Suddenly, his name was attached to Ciara's future in a way that made the internet combust before the credits even rolled. Social media lit up like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Fans scrambled to rewatch old episodes, zooming in on handshakes that lingered too long, shoulder taps that looked a little too intimate, whispers caught in background mics that suddenly seemed suspicious. Was that the moment? One user wrote under a clip of Jock laughing too hard at Ciara's joke. Another fan swore they saw her glowing differently back in March, like pregnancy had already started reshaping her. By the time Twitter caught on, the whole thing turned into a forensic investigation, with fan pages running CSI edits of blurry screenshots, matching outfits, and timelines like they were solving a cold case. But the truth was simpler, messier, and more explosive. Ciara had taken the very foundation of Love and Hip Hop, a show built on scandal, and strapped it with TNT inside. The reaction was pure reality TV gold. Botoxed faces froze mid-blink. Lip-glossed mouths fell open without sound. Even Carly Red, who never missed an opportunity to insert herself, was dead silent, blinking like she couldn't believe she'd just been beaten at her own messy game. And Ciara, face full of makeup but voice trembling with the weight of truth, doubled down. "It's Jock's." That was the moment the floor cracked open beneath the franchise. Because Jock wasn't single, wasn't free, wasn't in a place where this could ever be framed as innocent. He was tied, legally and emotionally, to Kendra, a marriage that fans already whispered was more fragile than glass in an earthquake. And now Ciara had claimed him in the most irreversible way possible, through bloodlines and DNA. The blogs worked overtime, and the shade was immediate. Memes popped up comparing Jock to Nick Cannon, except with worse excuses and fewer career moves. One post went viral that said, "Young Jock out here collecting kids like infinity stones," while another added, "The maternity ward about to give him a loyalty card." Ciara wasn't trending, she was dominating. Her name filled every gossip site, her clips looped across TikTok edits with sad R&B songs playing over them, and the fans who used to roll their eyes at her crying over BK Brasco were suddenly seeing her as the villain and the victim at the same time. And then came the receipts, or at least the whispers of receipts. An alleged leak, whispered behind cameras, murmured in the halls of production, and then accidentally slipped into a hot mic. A crew member had allegedly said, "We got the paperwork." She's telling the truth. What paperwork? Nobody knew. Medical files, blood test confirmations, prenatal scans, the guesses ran wild. But the idea that production had evidence turned a scandal into a nuclear bomb. Fans slowed down leaked audio clips, filtered background noise, and swore they could hear those words. By the time VH1 scrubbed the whispers, it was too late. The conspiracy theorists had already built their castles out of speculation. The internet didn't just sip the tea, it cooked an entire meal out of it. TikTok detectives stitched videos together, Ciara missing from one taping, Jock spotted in Miami at the same time she posted cryptic selfies, and the glow that everyone claimed was different. Fan cams turned the announcement into cinematic edits with captions like, "It was always Jock." One ex of Jock's even threw shade, tweeting, "Told y'all he don't know how to sit down." That single tweet broke the dam. Suddenly, everyone was dragging Jock like he had invented fatherhood scandals. But Ciara wasn't folding under the weight. She posted an Instagram story with the line, "When you stop hiding your truth, the world starts exposing their lies." She wasn't embarrassed, she was basking in the attention. Meanwhile, whispers about Kendra grew louder. Photos circulated of a woman, allegedly her, moving boxes out of what fans claimed was their shared townhouse. Grainy, paparazzi-style shots had her in oversized sunglasses, carrying a cardboard box, and the internet captioned it with lines like, "That walk says, I'm done." Whether it was true or not didn't even matter, perception had already made it gospel. Blogs ran with headlines like, Kendra moves out amid jock baby drama, and marriage in shambles after Sierra bombshell. And as if this wasn't enough chaos, more fuel hit the fire. Anonymous DMs started surfacing, sent to gossip blogs by supposed insiders. A stylist claimed they saw Jock rubbing Sierra's back during lunch breaks in a way that was too intimate to be platonic. Another message claimed Sierra had told a close friend, I didn't want to tell nobody yet, but now I gotta deal with it. Every leaked screenshot added another brick to the scandal wall, and Sierra stood at the center, hand on her baby bump, smiling like the storm was hers to command. By the next brunch scene, Sierra showed up in a tight pink dress with the bump visible, sipping sparkling water like it was champagne, daring anyone to question her. Carly finally broke the silence and asked, so, are you keeping it? Sierra didn't flinch. She clutched her purse, tilted her head, and said, this baby was sent to me. I'm done hiding. That statement alone triggered tears from castmates who had been dragging her behind her back just 2 scenes ago. The hypocrisy was rich, but the cameras caught every fake hug, every crocodile tear, every shaky attempt at sisterhood. And VH1? They were grinning ear to ear behind the lens. Because this wasn't just television anymore, it was cultural chaos spilling into real life. Outside of filming, the internet became a war zone. Team Sierra fans claimed she deserved love, even if Jock wasn't ready to give it. Critics mocked her for knowing who he was and still choosing him. And then came the wild cards, the ones who joked about spin-offs titled Baby Jock in the Building, or the GoFundMe that popped up under the title Diapers for Baby hashtag. That GoFundMe, ridiculous as it was, raised $800 before getting shut down. Allegedly because Jock himself didn't find it funny. But it didn't stop the chaos. By now, the gossip pages had their claws in deep. Screenshots of Jock allegedly texting someone saying, she tripping. This wasn't supposed to go public. Went viral. One blogger swore a producer admitted the pregnancy wasn't planned in the storyline, and that now VH1 was scrambling to rewrite entire episodes. What was supposed to be a season of mild arguments and reunion bickering had become a full-blown scandal arc that threatened to swallow the entire franchise. And yet, somehow, it was the exact kind of chaos Mona Scott had built an empire on. Then came the club sighting. Sierra and Jock both showed up to the same lounge in Buckhead, entering separately, pretending not to know each other. Jock was booked to host an event ironically titled Daddy Season, while Sierra appeared unannounced, bump in tow. The crowd filmed it like it was the Super Bowl of mess. 3 angles of Sierra walking in, captions like, the mother has arrived, and a clip of Jock looking like he'd seen a ghost. She stayed 10 minutes, just long enough for people to get their footage, before walking out. And that 10 minutes turned into 10,000 memes. The timeline of destruction was set. Jock's wife was silent. Jock himself was dodging the press. Sierra was posting baby bump photos with Drake lyrics like they were affirmations. And just when fans thought maybe, just maybe, it was settling, a new whisper dropped, that another cast member might also be pregnant, and might be keeping quiet because the father could be the same man. That rumor alone sent fans into meltdown. Suddenly it wasn't just Sierra's baby announcement. It was a franchise-ending earthquake. Love and hip-hop had always thrived on mess, but this was new. This wasn't wigs in a wine glass. This was legacy, marriage, contracts, DNA tests, and the kind of scandal you can't sweep away with a reunion fight. Producers allegedly scrambled, adding emergency confessionals, re-editing episodes, and booking camera crews to follow Sierra in her daily life. And Sierra? She leaned in harder, reportedly flashing ultrasound photos in confessionals and saying, I know people gonna judge, but this baby is my joy. And if it's Jock's, we gonna handle it like grown folks, or at least reality TV adults. That line alone could headline an entire season. By the end of the week, fans were exhausted but addicted. They debated whether Sierra was being authentic or playing chess while everyone else played checkers. They argued whether Jock was really the father or if Mona Scott herself had scripted the whole reveal for ratings. They laughed, they judged, they speculated, but most of all, they kept watching. Because if Sierra's bombshell was just the opening move, then the game wasn't even close to over. The days after Sierra's revelation didn't feel like normal days anymore. It felt like Atlanta had been placed under a permanent thundercloud, with lightning striking every few hours in the form of new leaks, new whispers, and new betrayals. Sierra wasn't just pregnant, she had become the axis of a storyline that spun the entire love and hip-hop universe off its hinges. Every blog, every gossip site, every messy fan page had her face plastered across their feeds, zooming in on every angle of her baby bump as if the future of the franchise depended on how round it looked. And maybe it did, because what Sierra announced wasn't just about a child, it was about Jock's legacy, Kendra's marriage, and the fragile balance of alliances that held the cast together. For years, Jock had laughed off the rumors, made jokes about his pull-out game, and smiled through reunion chaos, but now? Now the joke had collapsed into a DNA test-shaped cliffhanger. Behind the cameras, production wasn't sleeping. Emergency. Meetings were allegedly being held at VH1 headquarters. Scripts were shredded, schedules rearranged, and cast members rushed into last-minute confessionals to capture their raw reactions. Producers, who thought this season would run on small fights and recycled storylines, were suddenly dealing with a detonation that had left everyone scrambling. This wasn't supposed to be the arc, one anonymous insider whispered to a blog. We thought Scrappy's relationship drama was going to carry us, but Sierra just rewrote the whole season with 2 words, I'm pregnant. The way insiders described it, even Mona Scott herself had to fly down to Atlanta to make sure the chaos was contained. Because Sierra's baby wasn't just a baby, it was ratings gold dipped in scandal, but while production tried to manage the storm, the streets were wild. In salons, in hookah lounges, in barbershops, Sierra's name was on every tongue. People replayed her clip on their phones while getting their nails done, pausing mid-design to gasp at the audacity. Some fans called her brave, others called her reckless, but nobody could look away. And Jock? His silence only made it worse. A man who was usually quick with jokes, ready to go live, suddenly vanished. No Instagram stories, no radio appearances, not even his usual nightlife cameos. He was missing, and that silence became the loudest part of the scandal. Fans speculated, was he hiding in shame? Was Kendra keeping him on lockdown? Or was he plotting his next move, the way only a reality star who had lived through decades of mess knew how? Then came the first real crack. An alleged voice note leaked onto social media, supposedly from Jock himself. The audio was grainy, muffled, but fans swore it was his voice. That ain't even what it looked like, the man said. Y'all tripping if you think I'd let it go down like that. But just when people thought it was denial, the voice added, but if it's mine, I'm a step up. I always do. That line set fire to every platform. Because suddenly, Jock wasn't denying Sierra, he was admitting there was a possibility. And possibility is all the internet needed. Within hours, hashtags trended like hashtag Jock's new baby and hashtag Sierra said what. Memes showed Jock holding a lineup of baby bottles like Grammy trophies. TikTok edits had Sierra with glowing filters, captioned, Queen of Chaos. It wasn't just a storyline anymore, it was cultural warfare, and then, as if scripted by the universe, Kendra appeared. Not on the show, not in confessionals, but in paparazzi-style photos outside a courthouse. She wasn't smiling, wasn't waving, wasn't playing the game. She was in sweatpants and sunglasses, carrying paperwork that fans swore were divorce papers even though no one could see a word on them. That image alone sent the blogs into overdrive. Kendra calls it quits after Sierra's bombshell blared across gossip headlines, while others speculated she was already filing restraining orders. Whether true or not, the story grew its own legs and ran wild. Fans debated if Kendra was leaving quietly or if she'd be back for a revenge arc, and either way, everyone was tuning in. Meanwhile, Sierra wasn't slowing down. If anything, she was accelerating. She started posting cryptic captions, "My joy outweighs your lies. Some blessings come wrapped in chaos, and God chose me." Each one paired with a carefully angled baby bump shot, each one designed to feed the flames instead of cooling them. She wasn't hiding from the scandal, she was curating it like an art show. People called it shameless. Others called it iconic. But Sierra knew one truth: in the world of love and hip-hop, the one who controls the narrative controls the crown. And right now, she was wearing it, but if Sierra was basking, Jock was unraveling. Rumors swirled that he had stopped showing up to filming. Producers allegedly had to chase him down to get a single confessional, and when he finally sat in the chair, he looked more tired than messy. "I ain't trying to deal with all this right now," he allegedly said. "I just want peace in my house." But peace was the one thing he wasn't going to get, not with blogs dropping new receipts every morning like a twisted breakfast delivery service. A blog claimed to have text messages between Jock and a mystery woman where he wrote, "This got out of hand quick. I can't fix it." Another claimed Kendra had already moved into her mother's house. Every new rumor added another layer, and Jock looked like a man drowning in diapers, lawsuits, and betrayal. Then came the real explosion. Alleged medical paperwork surfaced online. Blurry, watermarked, unverified, but damning enough for fans to lose their minds. A document supposedly from a Buckhead clinic listed Sierra's name, with prenatal appointment details dated weeks earlier. Next to it, a section was blacked out, but fans swore they could make out the letters YJ in the father field. Was it real? Nobody knew. Was it believable? Absolutely. And that was enough. Sierra didn't confirm it, didn't deny it, she just posted a single photo of her manicured hand holding a sonogram picture, with the caption, "The truth don't need defending." That move alone turned a messy reveal into a full-on war. The internet split into factions. Team Sierra rode hard for her, praising her strength and honesty. Team Kendra dragged her as a homewrecker, accusing her of breaking up a marriage. And Team Jock? They roasted him mercilessly, dragging up his entire history of baby mamas, failed relationships, and bad excuses. Every meme had him dodging condoms, every tweet painted him as Atlanta's fertility mascot. Even celebrities weighed in. One rapper tweeted, "Jock gotta chill. My man is about to start his own daycare." A singer posted, "Protect Sierra. She deserves better." Suddenly, this wasn't just a love and hip-hop storyline, it was mainstream. Production allegedly tried to intervene, begging Sierra to tone down her social media, but she refused. Instead, she filmed a new confessional where she looked directly into the camera and said, "People want me to be quiet, but I'm not ashamed. I'm bringing life into this world, and if it's jocks, then that's what it is. I'm not hiding, I'm not begging, I'm not breaking. I'm standing." That confessional leaked early, and when it hit Twitter, fans went into meltdown again. Some praised her strength. Others accused her of weaponizing motherhood. But everyone was talking, and Sierra was trending for the third week straight, and then, the twist nobody saw coming, another anonymous insider claimed Sierra wasn't the only one. Another cast member, unnamed, was also allegedly pregnant and staying quiet because they suspected the father might be the same man. The internet nearly broke under the weight of that rumor. Who was it? Fans threw out names like darts at A. Board, Carly, Spice, even Erica Banks. Every cast member suddenly became a suspect in a messy game nobody signed up to play. VH1 had to issue a quiet statement denying the rumor, but by then, the speculation had already spiraled out of control. The stage was set for an inevitable showdown. Producers scheduled a sit-down between Sierra, Jock, and Kendra, but whispers leaked that Kendra refused. "I'm not about to be a side character in his circus," she allegedly told crew. Fans immediately started demanding that scene air, calling it the Super Bowl of love and hip-hop. Even if Kendra skipped, Sierra and Jock alone in a room promised more fireworks than a 4th of July block party. And while the internet waited for that taping, Sierra's mother flew into town, blindsided after finding out about the pregnancy. Through Instagram. That image alone, her mom learning through a clip between reels and cooking hacks, was tragic, yet perfectly love and hip-hop. By now, the scandal wasn't just a storyline, it was a living, breathing creature that fed off every post, every leak, every silence. Sierra wasn't just pregnant. She was at the center of a reality TV earthquake, and the aftershocks were only beginning. By the time the dust from Sierra's announcement had halfway settled, the city of Atlanta itself felt different. You couldn't walk into a beauty salon, a corner store, or a club without hearing her name whispered like it was scripture. Sierra wasn't just a cast member anymore, she had become the headline, the storm, the hurricane everybody was standing in. And the deeper this story went, the more it twisted into something bigger than just a baby. It became about loyalty, betrayal, survival, and who was smart enough to weaponize the chaos. The cameras kept rolling, but the real drama wasn't even on screen, it was in the leaks, the silence, and the way entire relationships cracked under the weight of one swollen secret. The first time Sierra and Jock were forced into the same room after the reveal, you could cut the tension with a knife. No jokes, no smirks, no casual small talk. Jock sat there heavy, eyes darting between Sierra's bump and the cameras, like he was calculating which angle would ruin him the least. Sierra, on the other hand, walked in with her head high, stomach proudly on display, as if the chaos swirling around her wasn't breaking her down but building her into something untouchable. "You gonna claim this or not?" she allegedly asked when the cameras weren't rolling. That single line, whispered in a room already choking on tension, was enough to make producers call for extra camera operators. Because this wasn't just a pregnancy, this was a power play, and Sierra wasn't afraid to put Jock on trial in front of the entire world. Kendra's absence screamed louder than any words. She had already refused to film, refused to show, refused to be reduced to the role of betrayed wife in Jock's ongoing circus. But her silence wasn't peace, it was war. Whispers grew that she was lawyering up, preparing to flip the storyline into a courtroom battle. A blog even claimed to have spotted her entering a lawyer's office downtown with a folder under her arm, wearing all black like she was attending a funeral, the funeral of her marriage. Fans speculated endlessly. Would she file for divorce? Would she sue Sierra? Would she drag VH1 into the mess for exploiting her pain? The possibilities were endless, and the internet ran with every one of them. Meanwhile, Sierra continued to embrace her role as the villain and the victim. She started showing up to events draped in maternity glam, bodycon dresses, heels, hair laid, face beat, and every outfit screamed, "I dare you to question me." And the people did question her, loudly. Every comment section turned into a battleground. Some accused her of clout chasing, others of breaking sister code, but many more rallied around her for speaking her truth, no matter how messy it was. And Sierra, instead of hiding, leaned all the way in. She posted photos of her ultrasounds, inspirational quotes about mothers being warriors, and clips of herself at doctor's appointments with captions like, "This is my blessing, my story, my future." Jock, on the other hand, looked like a man unraveling. Paparazzi caught him outside a lounge looking tired, phone pressed to his ear, muttering, "I can't keep doing this," as security tried to usher him away. He went live on Instagram one night, visibly frustrated, pacing back and forth in a dimly lit room. "Y'all think this is funny," he snapped at the comments. "This is my real life. This is my family. Stop playing with me." But the more he tried to pull sympathy, the more people clowned him in the comments, spamming baby emojis and posting jokes about him starting his own daycare franchise. Even when he tried to show pain, the world turned it into a meme, and then came the ultimate gut punch. Leaked footage from behind the scenes, allegedly filmed by a crew member, showed Sierra in tears, clutching her stomach and saying, "He don't even check on me. Not once." But the minute the cameras roll, he want to act like he care. That clip, raw and unpolished, stripped away her polished social media persona and showed the vulnerable side fans weren't expecting. Suddenly, sympathy swung in her favor. "Protect Sierra at all costs," trended for hours. Even celebrities jumped in. One reality star from another network tweeted, "Y'all love to clown women until you see the pain behind their strength." The scandal reached the kind of fever pitch that even VH1 couldn't control. Episodes had to be extended just to fit the mess. Reunion promos hinted at secret footage and confessions that would shake the culture. Fans speculated about DNA test reveals being filmed live, baby shower fights breaking out, and even other cast members stepping forward with their own secrets. And just when it seemed like the chaos couldn't climb any higher, it did. Another anonymous source came forward, claiming Jock had secretly submitted to a paternity test weeks earlier, and the results had already been sealed by lawyers. That single claim sent shockwaves through the fandom. If true, it meant everyone, from Sierra to production to the viewers, was being strung along until the results were revealed at the perfect ratings moment. Sierra's mother, still struggling with how she found out through Instagram, allegedly confronted Jock privately. "If you're the father, then you step up. If you're not, then stop destroying my daughter's name." The confrontation, though unfilmed, was whispered about by crew members who claimed the energy was so heavy. It felt like a scene out of a courtroom. For Sierra, the support of her family became her backbone, even as the public ripped her apart. For Jock, every corner of his life, from his marriage to his career, was folding in on itself, and yet, even as the scandal devoured everyone around them, there was still one looming question that refused to be silenced. Was Sierra's baby really Jock's? The conspiracy theorists had theories for days. Some said it was a storyline pushed by producers to boost ratings. Some believed Jock had been caught slipping yet again. Others suggested Sierra was leveraging his name to lock her storyline in for seasons to come. No matter the truth, the suspense alone was enough to keep everyone glued. By the time cameras captured the final episodes of the season, the energy wasn't just drama, it was dread. Sierra walked into the set glowing and unbothered, Jock sat heavy with stress and silence, and Kendra's empty chair sat like a ghost in the corner. The DNA results weren't revealed yet, but they loomed like a storm cloud waiting to crack. Thunder at the worst possible moment. The cast whispered, the fans speculated, and the world waited, because this wasn't just a pregnancy. This wasn't just another messy storyline. This was an earthquake that split friendships, toppled marriages, shook fan loyalty, and forced everyone, from the producers to the viewers, to pick a side. Sierra's truth had become everybody's obsession, and whether she was playing chess or just living her messy truth, she had turned herself into the center of the love and hip-hop universe. And if this was just the reveal, then what came next promised to be the kind of chaos that would define the franchise forever.